Alright. Hello everybody, welcome to LiveStream Under the Moonshine, number 286. I am Zaxter99. This is our continuation of the visual novel, One Small Fire at a Time. Now, One Small Fire at a Time is actually, it came out after An Octave Higher, one of my favorite visual novels that I've read over the years. And, but what it really is a prequel. It happened before everything that happened in An Octave Higher. So in the first episode, guys, if we remember, we went to a madhouse. Yes, a madhouse in the world of Overture, which is a very magical world. And we're looking at the role of Janice Wolf, who's a young girl. And she's been in this madhouse for many years. And the reason she's at this madhouse is because she can't use mana and magic like most normal people in the world of Overture. So they think that something's wrong with her mentally, because she can't use magic the same way other people can. And because of this, she's even getting picked on by some boys in this first part. And I guess she's gotten picked on so much that she's getting pretty adept at dealing with people that pick on her with magic, and she was really kicking their butt. So let me show you kind of what I'm talking about here, guys. So let me pull up what happened at the very end of the first part last week when I read this. Yeah, so right here, guys, at the very end of part 1 last week of An Octave Higher, we kind of saw, I like the art in this visual novel, we kind of saw a comic book illustration of what Janice Wolf did to one of these main boys. There's a group, I think 4 or 5 boys, that was being told to get her, you know, picking on her because she's abnormal. Kind of like what happens in real schools, because kids are cruel, and I guess kids are also cruel in the world of Overture. But we see that this boy casts a spell. He's like, I'm gonna get you, or whatever, and he casts this water spell, and she slips around behind his arm, not getting hit by the big blob of water, and she grabs his wrist, and then takes his wrist and twists it, and pushes his wrist onto himself in a painful way, I guess, so that she's able to maneuver him and flip him backwards, head over heels, and onto his face. So, really, really love that that art. Now, there was some lords that we had seen in An Octave Higher that were visiting the bathhouse, or this madhouse last week. They kind of witnessed this whole event, and it was getting pretty interesting, I gotta say. Hey, Phoenix TV, Twitch TV, how you doing, man? Welcome in. So we're going to go ahead and continue with, what is that here? Continue with One Small Fire at a Time with part 2 here, and we'll go ahead and continue right now. So we're moving on to chapter 3 here, and this is where we're at. Wrist twist. Greg says, what the hell was that? I thought you couldn't use magic. I can't. Damn it, you won't get away with this. Uh-oh. Drake pulls his right hand back in a gesture that I've discovered is one of the ways a magician can prepare their spells. So I think what's going to happen here is I think it's going to repeat exactly what happened in the last episode, where we just saw the sequence of events we saw. If I were a magician, the first thing I would do is, would be to get rid of those stupid gestures. Here, let's make it really obvious to your opponent when and how you're going to attack. Yeah, that just seems like a great plan, right? So she's using some sarcasm there to say, why do they use those gestures to point their hand at where they're going to shoot the spell? And she says that makes it super obvious. After this, Drake will thrust his hand forward, which will shoot out whatever magical projectile he is going to summon. That means it's time for me to step in is right now. Yeah, she's doing the same thing she did last week, but she's just kind of explaining how she's doing it. Very cool. As I predicted, Jake shoots out his magic, water, as it turns out, but I'm already out of his way. I've moved sideways, rotated my body outward by pivoting on my left foot, and grabbed his wrist with my left hand. Yep. That's awesome. Look at his face, like his grunt facial expression as he shoots the spell. Kind of cool. I don't stop moving. While using the momentum from my rotation to spin Drake around, I lower my body and push his hand down, knocking him off balance. And then I plant my right foot and pull the other foot back, placing Drake, who is now facing me, into an awkward position. Wow. Look at that confidence right there in her face. I love the art. Love the art. With his wrist still firmly in my left hand, I use my other hand to force the fingers on that hand to point at the sky. Like that. Finally, I push those fingers down towards the ground, effectively twisting his wrist. I love the swish sound. And then suddenly, Drake is in the air. There are two theories people often make after seeing this technique in action. The first is that it must be wind magic. The thrower must have somehow cast a spell to blow my opponent into the air. The second is that it isn't actually a throw. Instead, the opponent voluntarily jumps to make it seem like he's being thrown. In other words, it's all an act. While the first theory is completely wrong, the second one has some truth to it. Drake did jump. I'm not nearly strong enough to throw him, especially just by grabbing his hand. But thankfully, this isn't a technique that relies on my strength. The reason he jumped is because of two things. The first is that of the wrist twist. Pain is an interesting thing. It's the way your body alerts you to harmful situations. If Drake hadn't jumped, he would have broken his wrist. The pain triggered the body's reflexes, though Drake may not have realized that until he was at least in the air. Knowing him, though, it probably wasn't until he was writhing on the ground. The second reason is the momentum. Having been spun around and put in an off-balance position, he had already been set up to jump. The pain was just the catalyst. Magic is a great weapon, but it has a crucial weakness. It has to come out of the caster's hand. That's not to say it's an easily exploitable weakness. Even if you manage to get close enough to punch a magician in the face, he can still aim a hand at you and fry you with a crisp of fire as he falls to the ground. But if you can seize control of the magician's hand, victory is all yours. And no time during the execution of this technique was I ever exposed to Drake's open hand. On the contrary, once I twisted his hand, it was aimed at his own face. That is pretty brilliant. If he had used magic then, he would have made things much worse for himself. That's awesome. I love that explanation. Ah! Drake! Drake says, "Ouch, it hurts." And Boy One says, "What did you do to Drake? You weren't supposed to have been able to use magic." How many times do I have to say it? I can't use magic. I guess in a city where everyone uses magic, it's only natural to assume that fights can only be done with magic. Guys, let's attack at the same time. Okay, I'll get her from the left. Then I'll get her from the right. Good idea. Then I'll attack from... Where was I going to attack from again? Oh, that's funny. What the hell, guys? Just attack from wherever. God. The remaining boys aim their hands at me, and I quickly close in on one whose hand has burst into flames. Oh wow. He hurls a fireball, but I'm already behind him. I grab the back of his shirt collar and pull down as hard as I can, lowering my body as quickly as I can while making a quick stride backward. He lands on his butt. Unfortunately, that little trick relies mostly on strength, and a small girl like me isn't quite strong enough to slam his entire body down on the ground. I would have liked to use a better technique, but when you're facing 3 opponents at the same time, you're forced to think on your own feet. Not wasting any time, I dash immediately to my next opponent. I can hear the boy I knocked down getting up with a pained grunt. Things aren't looking good. The other 2 boys already have their hands up, both gleaming with light. I pick the nearest one. A water spell. He casts a spell, but I easily dodge it by lowering my body. The jet of water flies harmlessly over my shoulder. Oh damn. I spin my body and launch myself at his magic casting arm, using the moment of the rotation to toss the arm and in turn the boy's body to the ground. Another throw, I learned. Oof. Though it really can't be called a throw. While he does fall, it really looks as if he just slipped and fell to the ground. It would have been much more effective if he had swung his hand at me with everything he had, because then I could have used that power against him. But since he didn't, the throw only carried the strength of a 13-year-old girl. I see him slowly getting back up to his feet, but the 3rd boy is getting ready to cast his spell, so I'm forced to shift my attention to him. Uh-oh. He uses earth magic, but like the 2 before him, I've already moved to his side and grabbed his wrist. Boy, like I said, this Janice Wolf, she has gotten pretty damn good at dealing with bullies, it seems like. I spin him around, and then a gust of wind whisks me away from behind. I don't know which of the other 2 boys casts the spell. I soar forward through the air, but I haven't lost yet. As I near the ground, I tuck myself, bringing my right arm forward and arching my back so that my body is curved. Whack! As soon as my hand touches the ground, I roll forward using my outstretched arm. The fall still hurts, but at least I'm not seriously injured. Don't let her get up! Attack her! Well, not injured yet. Before I can get back on my feet, a rock the size of my head slams into my back. I can almost hear my bones cry out in agony. Thanks for those biddies, Phoenix. Ugh! I fall face first. While I'm still lying on my belly, I'm struck by a torrent of water. I grit my teeth, trying my hardest to withstand the pain. I glance up only to see another boy's flaming hand. Stop! A man's voice blares, but the boy's hand is still ablaze. Stop it now! Uh-oh. Suddenly, a swirling wind gobbles up the 3 boys. They whirl violently in the tornado until it vomits them back out, hurling them high into the sky, even higher than the madhouse's roof. Holy cow. Ah! The boys start to plummet back to the ground. Oh no, we're going to die! But right before they hit the ground, they come to an abrupt stop, suspended in the air. Huh? Did we die? No, I think we're still alive. That's funny. A man strides to them. He's huge, easily 2 or 3 heads taller than me. Didn't you hear me say stop? His 2 arms are spread, one pointing at the opening between the 1st and 2nd boys, and the other between the 2nd and the 3rd. He is using a levitation spell on all 3 boys at the same time. immediately after casting a tornado. Even non-magic users like me could easily tell that what this man did isn't something a normal person could do. The boys don't answer the man's question. Instead, they stare open-mouthed at him, their mouths shaped like O's, like an awe. I don't want to see you gang up on a girl again. Do I make myself clear? The boys nod furiously. With a small gesture, the man gently lowers the boys as if he were putting cups of tea on a table. The boys help Drake and the other boy I knocked out earlier, and they all scamper back into the house. The man turns to me. Are you hurt? I touch my back. Blood drips from my fingers. Uh-oh. No. The man extends an arm towards me. But no, I think Janice is pretty smart. I think she knows what's up with magic. And I think she knows this guy is here to help her, and that he's not going to cast a fucking fireball at her head. I'm just saying. We're going to let him cast a spell. And it sounds like a healing spell. And built a relationship a little bit with him. A cool, tingly feeling envelops me, as if I were being submerged in water, but without the wetness. A soothing sensation runs through my body, starting from my chest and quickly spreading out. Boy, wouldn't that be nice to have healing magic like that here on Earth? If the flavor of peppermint was determined by touch instead of taste, it would be pretty close to what I'm feeling on my skin right now. But just as quickly as it came, the sweet sensation is gone, taking the pain in my back with it. So now her back pain is all gone. The man and I look at each other. How are you feeling now? One look at this man is all I need to be able to tell that he's a hardened warrior who's seen much more than his fair share of combat. He's probably strong enough to slaughter a pack of monsters, even without breaking a sweat. He's definitely someone to be feared. Yet his voice is the gentlest I've ever heard. I'm okay. Good. Short man, so this is Professor Poe, obviously. Ho ho ho, what a spectacular show! Another man appears. Unlike the first man, this one is barely taller than me. Good day, young lady. Are you okay? What happened just now? No, it's nothing. It's just a little fight. Is that so? That didn't look like my definition of nothing or little. Were they bullying you? Oh, not really. They just don't like me. They always call me names and they pick on me. Well, that's what we call bullying. They even beat you up. But I beat them back. Though I lost in the end. Fair enough, I suppose. Does this happen often? All the time. But today was the first time we fought for real. Usually they just try to flip my skirt with wind, drench me with water, or cast fire really close to my hair. Oh, that's fucked up. You know, childish stuff. Still, that's an awful thing to do to a young lady. It's no big deal. I'm used to it. I can't use magic, so this will just keep happening. You can't use magic, huh? It's impressive that you were able to fight them without using magic. So what? I still lost, and I had to be rescued. Is that why you're here? Because you can't use magic? That's it. You mean the madhouse? Yeah. The inability to use magic. So this sort of lunacy exists too. Oh. The short man stops as he notices another man walking toward us. Man. My lord, is Mr. Sherwood still not back yet? No. The man stares at me but says nothing. I return the favor. Unlike the short man, this man isn't the talkative sort. Good. I like him already. I often wonder why people who can't keep their mouth shut aren't sent to madhouses. That's adorable. I like that. I often wonder why people who can't keep their mouth shut aren't sent to madhouses as well. That's funny as hell. Phoenix says, but I beat them back. Sounds like things I used to say. I think seems like Phoenix is enjoying this as well. Isn't it strange that people who feel uncomfortable with talking are said to be unsociable, yet people who feel uncomfortable with not talking are considered normal? The latter to me sounds like the more serious mental problem. I'm going to call it shameless personality disorder. Shameless personality disorder, huh? Well, if that's the case, then most women in our life definitely have shameless personality disorder, right? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. If my girlfriend ever hears this, I'm toast. I'm just saying. She's gonna fucking do to me like this Janice girl was doing to those boys. She's gonna turn behind me, grab my wrist, flip me back upside down. Shameless personality disorder, yeah. Ahem. Perhaps introductions are in order. Well, what's your name, little lady? Janice. Well, it's very nice to meet you, young Janice. This gentleman is the young lord of House Godwin and the founder of Magical Mechanical, Lord Joff Godwin. You may call him Lord Godwin. Oh. He points at the quiet man. They both just look. Yeah. Professor says, hey, you shouldn't be rude, Janice. Oh, it doesn't matter, Professor. Let her call me whatever she likes. I see. In fact, since we're here, you and Commander Wolf should drop the Lord also. Oh, okay. Off it is then. The short man speaks to me again. Well, moving on, my name is Johann Poe. People call me Professor Poe, but you can just call me Johann. I haven't been a professor for very long anyway. Ha 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 ha. Oh. I said you could call me Johann. Poe is easier to remember. Oh, is that so? Ha ha ha. Alright. I guess. Finally. This is Commander Aiden Wolf of the Dragoon. Oh, do you know about the Dragoon? They're a special forces unit in our police force. I guess he won't mind if you just call him Aiden, or perhaps Wolf. Nice to meet you, Janice. Commander. Well, why is he the only one who is called by his title? I was going to shorten Commander to Coder, but Coder sounds like a lame job title. That's funny. Why do I get the feeling you just insulted a lot of people? Wait, you didn't even answer my question. Shall we go back inside? Mr. Sherwood should be waiting. Oh, you're right. I think it's time we went back in. Well, it was nice talking to you, young lady. Let's talk again soon sometime. Okay. The commander looks at me for a brief second, and then he nods and walks away. What a cool commander. I like Commander Aiden. Alright. So Chapter 4, Magic Deficiency Disorder. Okay. So that's what Janice has, obviously. Yeah, a very interesting conversation, right, Phoenix? Alright, there's Mr. Sherwood. I'm going to try to come up with voices for all these guys and then remember how I make them sound. I'm just trying to differentiate them all between each other. Apologies for keeping you waiting, my lord. Sherwood says. Not at all, Mr. Sherwood. We showed ourselves around. I hope you don't mind. Of course not, my lord. And please, call me Colton. I haven't properly introduced myself, have I? My name is Colton Sherwood, and I am the owner of the Eclipse here, the madhouse. I believe you've already met my wife, Oriel. Yes, she greeted us at the gate and escorted us here. By the way, I hope you don't mind me bringing friends here. This is Johann Poe, a professor of magical science at the Conservatoire d'Ouverture. Poe nods at Mr. Sherwood. And this is Commander Aidan Wolfe. He oversees the Overture Police Dragoon Unit. Oh, there is a special reason for bringing a high-ranking official with you, my lord. Are you perhaps worried that I might be involved in some shady business here? No, nothing like that. Johann, Wolfe, and I are all friends. We often travel together. Nothing more. Having Wolfe around is especially useful. Johann and I always feel safe when we're with him. Right, Johann? That's right, Mr. Joff. That's all there is to it. Ha ha ha, I understand, my lord. It's an honor to meet amazing people like Professor Poe and Commander Wolfe here. Joff, Poe, and Commander continue to make small talk with Mr. and Miss Sherwood. Beside me, I notice that Ina has been staring at Joff with her eyebrows furrowed and her head cocked ever since we entered the ward. As soon as she saw Joff, she said, "Oh, Joff, did you manage to find it? Were you able to do it by yourself?" Joff just didn't answer. Oh my god. So she's one of the caretakers here at the madhouse, the lady we just saw. And when she saw Joff here, she assumed that he was here because he was another customer, basically. He was going to be another member of the bathhouse or the madhouse here, and she also assumed that he needed to find the bathroom, I think, because she ended up asking him if he needed help using the bathroom. And she even ended up asking him in part 1 if he needed help using the bathroom. It was pretty funny. Yeah, it was pretty funny in part 1 if you missed that. So, about the mana potions. Of course, my lord. I understand that as a magic machine manufacturer, your company will need a lot of mana potions for its workers, and you'll need them at an affordable price. When will you need the potions, my lord? We haven't started mass production yet. My engineering team has produced a number of prototypes, and we are testing them prior to production. In any case, I intend to have the factory ready by springtime. So, we still have half a year, give or take. That's correct. And I see. And how many will you need, my lord? Janice. I cast a sideways glance at Ina. I heard you. What? Why does Mr. Sherwood keep calling Joff my lord? Because he's a lord? Huh? He isn't a new inmate? Yeah, see, that's what she thought. What? No! Poe said Joff's a young lord of House Godwin and the founder of something with 2 M's. Magical Mechanical. She got it all wrong. Ina's sudden shout silences everyone. They all throw her an inquisitive look. That's funny. And Oriel. Miss Polidori, is there something wrong? Well, Janice told me that, it's that time of the month, so I'm taking her outside. Please excuse us. Ina pulls my hand and literally sprints out the front door. Hey, why do I have to come with you? She wanted to stay and listen to the conversation, I think. Alright. And it's not that time of the month! Any excuse to get her out because she's embarrassed about assuming that Lord Godwin was a new customer. Wow. So, what the hell did you do to Joff? How did you know I did something to him? It's written all over your face. Feel it. I said something rude to Lord Godwin. What'd you say? It's a really embarrassing story. Crying. Okay, I'm gonna go back inside. Wait, I'll tell you. But promise me you won't laugh. Yeah, whatever. I promise. Huh? That wasn't very reassuring. Okay, here goes. Ina tells me what happened when she met Job. And Janice says, "You're an idiot, aren't you?" So brutal, Janice. Is that the kind of thing you say after hearing a maiden's plight? Couldn't you have just laughed or something instead? Hey, you made me promise not to laugh, remember? Oh, that's funny. Promise you won't laugh, and then she calls her an idiot instead because she doesn't want to laugh at her. That's fucking hilarious. I'm really liking Janice's character already. This is awesome. Janice is being mean again. Oh god, what's going to happen to me? Is Lord Godwin going to punish me? What kind of punishment is he going to give me? I'm not going to be executed, am I? Oh my gosh. Am I going to be executed? Am I? I'm going to be executed, aren't I? Oh my god, he's freaking out. Janice, help! They're going to have me executed! It's impressive how she went from what's going to happen to me to I'm going to be executed in a matter of seconds. Calm down. Lords aren't kings, right? I don't think they can just order executions whenever they want. Besides, I doubt Jaw even cares about what happened at all. Really? Are you sure? No, but not like I can read his mind. Oh my gosh, I'm going to die! This girl is helpless. Don't worry, I won't let you die. I'll beat up anyone who tries to kill you, okay? Huh. Janice, thank you. You're the best. Amazing how she goes from tears to a smiley face, yeah. At least she's honest. I love blunt people. Yeah, exactly right. Apparently, she forgot that I can't even use magic. Just then, the door to the ward opens. Oh, speak of the devil. We see Mr. and Miss Sherwood escort Joff, Poe, and Commander to the gate. They have a little chat at the gate and shake each other's hands. As Joff exits the gate, he catches a quick glimpse of me and Ina before leaving with Poe and Commander. Oh no! I think our eyes met for a second there. So? Janice, my face is burning. What's happening to me? Wow, your face is really red. Seriously? What is this? What is this feeling? Is this that? Is this what I think it is? It's love? Love? Are you serious? Janice? She told her it's love. It's love. Oh my god, Janice is messing with her now, big time. Janice is so messing with her. This is so funny. I didn't say anything. And Candela, man, I can't remember what voice I used for her. It's love, alright. It's love, right? No, it can't be. Love. Oh, she said love. Ina says, no, Janice, tell me it isn't love. Yeah, it couldn't be. Seeing Jaw must have reminded you of your shameful meeting and made you blush because it was so embarrassing. Right, that's it. Wait, what's with an overly realistic explanation? How old are you again? That's it. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to start teaching you how to properly speak like a teenage girl. I don't wanna. I don't wanna. This is funny. Alright, where are we at now? They suspected us, Adam Wolf stated after they turned the corner and the Eclipse's gate was out of sight. I shouldn't have come. This is your investigation, Johann Poe replied. Of course you had to be there. Don't worry, they won't back away from the deal. Lord Jodwin Joff hasn't lost his cool. Joff reminded Aiden of some of the best mages he'd fought, the ones who had never let their emotions show in battle. These were excellent fighters who knew to make every spell count. They could assess a situation so thoroughly that they would be able to instantly pinpoint the best route of attack right when Aiden least expected it. Johann here, handing a vial of clear blue liquid to the professor. Is this a sample Mr. Sherwood gave you? He asked as he slipped the potion into his pocket. Yes. I'll see what I can learn from it. In any case, the Sherwoods seem like decent people. We don't know that yet. Yeah, you're right. What do you think, Wolf? Joff's right. It's too early to tell. At first glance, Colton and Oriel Sherwood were just a normal married couple who happened to run the madhouse. Something bothers me about the madhouse, though. What might that be? We never saw the adult inmates. It's standard practice to keep inmates locked up, Johann explained. Yep. Some lunatics can be dangerous. But not the child inmates? Children aren't nearly as much of a threat. I guess that makes sense. Yet Aiden couldn't shake away the feeling that something just wasn't right. Interesting. Maybe it revolved around the mana potions. Aiden knew the real reason the king ordered the investigation on Eclipse's mana potions wasn't because they were worried they were harmful, as the official report stated, but because the government suspected that whoever was supplying Eclipse with potions might not be paying taxes for them. Of course, it revolves around money. And of course, the possibility of someone not paying taxes just didn't sit well with the government. Most madhouses didn't give their inmates potions for two reasons. First was that lunatics were often considered dangerous individuals. The second, and definitely the most important, was that mana potions were prohibitively expensive. How was Eclipse able to give their inmates potions regularly? Granted, the Eclipse was an institution for the wealthy, and their admission fee was much higher than most other madhouses, but it wasn't high enough to offset the cost of mana potions. The conclusion was that Eclipse had somehow been able to get their hands on cheap potions, which meant they were most definitely illegal. The government could have just asked Eclipse to disclose where their potions came from, of course, but they also knew that it wouldn't be difficult for Eclipse to cook up some elaborate scheme to cover up any shady business dealings that they may be involved in. It's also why they couldn't just send the police with a warrant. Everything already pointed to the potions being illegal, but they needed concrete evidence. And this is where Aiden, Joff, and Johann came in. As the founder of the new magic machine manufacturer, Joff would approach Eclipse by pretending to be a buyer in the market for cheap mana potions. Wow, this is messed up. This is so messed up. Yeah, Phoenix says my kids about something every day. I don't wanna. Exactly, yeah. So we thought, I actually believe this because I remember an Octave Higher, which is a great visual novel, by the way. Check it out on my YouTube channel. The entire thing is, I don't know, I think it's roughly 20 hours long. And I read it back in 2017 and I really loved it. So we met Lord Joff Godwin back in An Octave Higher. Obviously, that's in the future, but he is the owner of Magical Mechanical, and we kind of saw how that all functioned. We haven't met Aiden here until this visual novel, but we obviously met Johann, who's a professor of magic. So, the government sent these three to the Eclipse, which is the madhouse where Janice is at. The government sent these three to there with a scheme to pretend to be the buyer of the in the market for cheap mana potions. This is messed up. This is really messed up. This has really thrown a monkey wrench into this whole thing that I thought was happening. Wow. Yeah, that's sounds like the government though, right? With his expertise in magical science, Johann would help analyze the potions Joff received from the Eclipse and try to figure out where the hell it came from. Aiden was in charge of the whole investigation. But it was the official reason that made him uneasy. Was it a coincidence that the owners of a madhouse were involved in an illegal mana potion trade? Or is that really just too convenient? What if the madhouse were actually a facade for something more sinister? Lunatics, after all, were social outcasts. If one were to randomly disappear one day, nobody would even bat an eye. That made them perfect subjects for... Aiden didn't even want to think about it. Damn! He sincerely hoped it really wasn't something as simple as tax evasion. But if his many years in the force had taught Aiden Wolf anything, it was that things that didn't feel right usually weren't right. Well, trust your gut feeling, right? Magic deficiency disorder. Lunatics who suffer from this madness have severe or in extreme cases complete loss of ability to cast magic spells. These individuals do not have any observable physical deformities that normally cause such disabilities to occur, such as arm fractures, for example. People who are magically disabled due to a physical injury must not be diagnosed with this madness, and should instead be referred to a physician who can fix the immediate cause of their disability through the use of healing magic. It is only when the loss of magic isn't accompanied by physical injuries that the disability is believed to be the product of a defective mind, and a diagnosis of magic deficiency disorder is appropriate. Immediate admission to a madhouse is advisable. The cause of this madness is unknown. No treatments have been shown to be effective. That's what the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Lunacy says about my condition. If there was any doubt about me having this madness, what happened today should be put to rest. Since I still can't use magic after Commander Wolf cast healing magic on me, proves that my defect is mental rather than physical. I wish he had cured my magical disability instead. Who cares about a little wound? But he can't cure my madness. Even the manual says there are no effective treatments. Yeah, tell me about it. I've been subjected to all sorts of therapy, and nothing has worked. At first, they tried to teach me using the methods taught in schools with the occasional counseling, and these tonic baths, hydrotherapy, they called them, which felt weird at first, but were otherwise not too unpleasant. Though after a while, once it was evident that normal treatments weren't going to produce any results, they called in alienists who specialized in all kinds of therapies designed to cure difficult lunacies like dementia and Krakows. Magic deficiency, is it? Mumbled the alienist, a man even older than Mr. Sherwood, as he pored over a piece of paper, commenting how broken my mind must have been to suffer from such a terrible madness. Oh, this really makes you feel sorry for Janice here. Yeah, it does sound like something the government would do, Phoenix. He proceeded to give me instructions by his two assistants, both young men, probably the alienist students, before telling me about something called the hypothermia therapy. I didn't really understand him, But he basically said that a lunatic's mind can sometimes be cured by lowering their body temperature to a near-death state. Holy cow. He said that this therapy could cure me for sure. The alienist told me to strip naked, which I reluctantly obliged. And then he had one of the assistants stand in front of me and extend his hand. Boy, wouldn't that be awkward, making you strip down naked? Free shock therapy? Yeah, in front of a man. And then the young man's gonna cast a magic spell on her. The hand glowed for an instant before something obscured my vision and my whole body was assaulted by freezing cold. I couldn't move any of my limbs, not even a finger, because the block of ice had completely encased my entire body. They told me later that I was only frozen for a minute, but it felt like a freaking eternity. I felt as if I had died. Damn. Even after the ice melted, they watched me shiver on the floor, still unclothed, still naked, for who knows how long. And at the end of it, the hypothermia therapy failed to cure my madness. A week later, the alienist tried a completely different therapy. He explained to me that the mind could be cured by inducing a seizure, so he would force me to have one by a method he called electroshock therapy. Zap! Wow, it's messed up. This time, it was the other assistant's turn. Without any warning, he shot out a lightning bolt. I remember my body jolting in intense pain, but it was very brief. The next thing I remember is waking up in my bed after sundown. That didn't cure my lunacy either. They experimented with a bunch of other therapies over the next few months, none of which helped me gain an ability to use magic at all. I hated those stupid sessions. Mr. Sherwood did eventually forbid any therapeutic methods that could cause physical harm, favoring counseling sessions instead. But it still sucks. I hate this madness. Why is everybody else able to use magic? Why am I the only one who can't? What the hell is wrong with me? I hate magic. I hate not being able to use it. I hate getting beaten up because of that. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. This madhouse, this prison where I'm forced to spend my entire foolish life, this place that is supposed to cure me of my madness, but it doesn't. I hate it. Drake and the boys, those annoying brats who think they're so great just because they have magic. I hate them too. Everything in this world just pisses me the hell off. This world, this unfair world of this arbitrarily decided that everyone except me would be able to use magic. I hate it. I hate everything. Everything in this entire world just pisses me off. I wish it would all just disappear. Where is this apocalypse that the religious nutjobs have promised us for years? Don't go telling people about the end of the world if you can't deliver on that promise, goddammit. Why hasn't the world ended yet? Hurry up and end already, please! What's so great about magic anyway? Why am I considered less of a person just because I can't use it? Well, I do understand. I learned a long time ago before I came to Eclipse that without magic, I'm just a burden for everyone. In 3rd grade, I went on a school trip out to the countryside. The teachers divided us into groups of 3 or 4, making sure that each group was diverse enough to have all 5 types of magic: fire, water, wind, earth, and healing magic. The idea here was to have people have everyone work with their teammates to complete various tasks that required different combinations of magic. Its intent was to simulate how magicians work together in real life. And it just so happened that I was the only one in my group to possess the courage magical trait, apparently the trait for fire magic. Needless to say, we failed to complete anything that required burning or heating stuff. At lunch, we had to cook our own meals. More accurately, the teachers gave us frozen blocks of food, that we had to melt with fire. But we couldn't even do that. We had to wait while the food thawed, and then we had to eat it cold. Man, that sucks. Yeah, poor chick, exactly right. Everyone had always ridiculed me for not being able to use magic, but after that school trip, they didn't just make fun of me. Everybody despised me. Nobody wanted anything to do with me instead of inside or outside of the classroom. The madhouse provided an environment where people who couldn't use magic could all live in any sort of comfort. The alienists and nurses are ready to assist me at any time. But outside these walls, everything depends on magic. Society expects you to be able to use magic. It's not their fault that they reject me. It's my own fault for not being able to use magic. It's my own bad luck to have been born without the ability to use magic. I should have never been born at all. Now that's a really dark thinking there, but I think anybody listening to this or reading this visual novel, even though we don't have magic here in the real world, I think you have to not be human to not be able to seriously empathize with poor Janice here. Yeah, and then you start thinking, I'm so abnormal. I'm so different. Why was I even born? But so what? Would my life be better if I could use magic? Would magic be able to make me happy? Probably not. Doesn't matter. I don't care about it anymore. I don't care about anything anymore. So what if I have to spend the rest of my life in a madhouse? Anywhere else would suck just as much. So what if Drake and his little gang beat me up every day? Someone will heal my injuries with magic, and it'll be as if nothing ever happened, right? I don't care. I just don't care. I don't care. I don't care, 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 I don't care. The world already hates me. Even if I suddenly woke up tomorrow and was able to use magic, the world would still hate me. Magic isn't going to change anything now. Man, bless her heart. Bless her heart. Wow, guys. So with that, we are in chapter 5, and that's going to be a perfect stopping point because I want to try to keep all these. I want to try to keep all these visual novel parts to about an hour or maybe a little under. Another great part of this visual novel, and if you haven't listened to part 1 yet, I highly encourage you to go back and listen to part 1 to get more insight onto Janice Wolfe and why she's here. And if you haven't watched or listened to An Octave Higher, I'd recommend that as well. A great read. And there's plenty of content there to keep you satiated or satisfied while you wait for me to read part 3 of One Small Fire at a Time. This is really starting off really well. I loved part 1 last week, and I think I like part 2 here even more. Part 2 here tonight, as we learned about the government sending the 3 men, Lord Wolf and Professor Poe and Lord Godwin, all to the Eclipse, the madhouse where Janice is at. The government sent them all there, basically trying to manipulate the owner of the bathhouse into stating, hey, we're interested in mana potions for magical mechanical, which is going to be kicking off next spring. But it was all BS. I had no idea that deal was all BS. I thought it sounded really legit because I know from reading An Octave Higher that magical mechanical does have to have a ton of the blue mana potions, which everybody needs to keep their business running because magic mechanical is already well established and running in An Octave Higher. And remember, this all takes place before An Octave Higher. So we know that magical mechanical does get plenty of the mana potions from somewhere. And, So they are trying to find out, the government is sending three men to the Eclipse to try to find out where the hell the Eclipse is getting their mana potions and if it's some kind of an illegal scheme. And again, as we saw, it's all about the tax money and tax evasion and all that. And that's at least what it is, Lord Eden, I believe, said it could be, is tax evasion. And he has a bad feeling about it all, and bad feeling about why they didn't sue the adult people and stuff like that. People adult at the Eclipse. So it's gotten really interesting, and yeah, that's definitely throwing a monkey wrench into the whole thing, and intrigues me as to what's going to happen in the future. Obviously, Janice Wolfe here, the young teenager, how can you not empathize with her, even though it's a completely fictional story? I think it's really easy to empathize and really like Janice. Janice Wolfe is an amazing character, and they're really establishing a really smart. She's easy to like. She has a personality that's definitely easy to relate with and easy to like and admire for sure. Getting picked on and bullied and being the outcast, if you would, of society. Guys, thanks so much for being here. We'll see you right back here real soon with more live streams. Peace, everybody. Have a great one. Take care.